teacher because originally I thought I might be a lawyer and I would teach while I was making some money and then go to law school. But then I became a teacher and realized that this was my passion, my calling. As cheesy as it sounds, I used to always watch those teacher movies, Stand and Deliver, Dangerous Minds, Coach Carter, and I wanted to be that person, that character that made a big difference in the lives of young people. And then it was, well, which grade do I want to teach? And so I figured for me, high school is kind of that last moment before you choose one path or the other. And so I feel like I get a chance to be that last voice before you make life decisions. So that is why I chose high school teaching of all things.
Juliet?
I have my lips
Oh my gosh, save her, Nixon, save her!
Sinning on my lips, I would trespass sweetly urged. Give me my sin again.
Oh, I'm so sorry, let me get that back from you. He goes in for another kiss, and she is very complimentary to him.
kissed by the book.
But the nurse interrupts it just when they're having a moment. Here comes the nurse.
I originally wanted to teach history because I had great history teachers. I also had really great English teachers, but history in particular, I love history. But as I was going through the credential program, somebody said, well, you know that history teachers are hard. It's a hard job to come by because you think about most schools, you only have to take, one history each year and there's not as many classes. Long story short, English was a more guaranteed job, so I took English. But that being said, if you've ever been in my class, you will know I try to shove as much history into the English as I can because I have a love of history too.
I'll bump it up to an A. So, I need to know before you leave who are my A people, so just a minute, I'll write your names down. In addition, homework for today. Yes. 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 Yes.
I think we did it.
Yes.
Relationship with my students. Over the years, I have gone from being, because I started teaching at 22, so I was the older sister to then maybe the auntie, and now I'm like the mother, soon to be the grandmother of my students. I feel like I'm that extra family member because, as my students often say, oh, another mother lecture. Yes, I give you lots of mother lectures because I think you need to hear it more than just once. And I feel like my kids are kind of like my surrogate kids. My rule has kind of been, if I don't want my own child in my class, then maybe it's time to get out of the profession. So I think of all of my students as kind of being my kids. And I think I'm very good at separating the student from the person. You might be failing my class miserably, but I adore you. Or you might be getting an A, but you are working my nerves. So I think I'm pretty good at separating the two, but I want to be remembered when you leave high school.
It tells you, acquire a financial fortune. You can get that girl. She's an only child and her parents are rich. And you can get Juliet, you can have money. So maybe Romeo's all about the money and the body, who knows? But he finds out who she is.
I used to think I was going to be a lawyer. I like to argue. I like to be like for the underdog. I like underdog movies. I want to be that teacher where the student who everyone, didn't think was going to make it comes back and says, you are the reason I went off to do great things. But if I wasn't teaching, again, being that underdog supporter, maybe a lawyer or maybe a social worker, but it has to be something where I feel like my life is worthy and making a difference for other people. Definitely motivated by the teachers that stood out for me, getting kids up and active and trying to be creative and trying to translate things into modern vernacular. So as much as I enjoy making a fool of myself, I think that sometimes that helps students open up and it gets them to see things from their own perspectives, even if I'm using the slang incorrectly. If I get them laughing, I know they're paying attention. So I try to get kids to argue and get kids to take an active role and get kids to back up their claims with evidence. And I think all of those I got from those teachers.